Assalamu alaikum and good evening to all of you wherever you are. We are back again on Gunjur Online today on Wednesday on the 3rd of September 2025, to discuss issues that affects us, as a people, and as always said, this platform is a voluntary platform that comes to discuss issues. And today we have burning issues that are going on in the Gambia, meandering all over the place. And these are healthy in essence at some extent. When we have chance, we will come and invite professionals, people who has the know-how to dissect some of the things that are going on in our country. And as we always said, democracy is not an easy system, and it's very, very, very can be chaotic sometimes. It's not the best, it's not perfect, but in the market it is the best so far. But it is not straightforward. And building countries that are coming up like the Gambia, democracy can be very, very, very toxic sometimes. I hope we will get it one day, perfectly right, even though, we have to agree to disagree. But what is important is, the cohesion, the unity, and the sanity of the Gambia has to be prioritized than anything else. So that's why we have a specialist that we invite today, a respected brother, Sulayman Ben Suwareh. Not only is humble, is respected, he has wisdom and knowledge, across the board, but, the willingness, the discipline, because he works, he has a family, and anything that ordinary people does, he's doing this, does, and still he will have time for ordinary people to come to any platform that he is called for. But one thing that he is going to say is his opinions are not biased. It's always based on knowledge, based on facts, not hearsay, and based on genuine love for, for the progression of our motherland, the Gambia. Once again, Brother Ben Suwareh, welcome back to Gunjur Online. Your platform has been there really, really long time, and people are calling for you. Why are you not bringing Ben and all those things anyway? But again, you are here, bro. Say hi to our people, and we are appreciative as always to have you here.
Thank you very much, Ebrima. It's always a pleasure to be on Gunjur Online. And for the people who are asking, it's just conflict of and time. Time conflicts. That's what all it is, due to our busy schedules. But inshallah, we will try as much as possible to be showing up to have these discussions that are very important for our people. Thank you very much for inviting me and all the people behind Gunjur Online. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ben. Our topic of discussion is, is UDP's future hanging in the balance amidst a chaotic flag-bearer struggle. But when we say UDP, we mean the whole Gambia, because, the Gambia is at the crossroad. We have leadership that are really not, performing, and they result now to dividing people, tribal line, religious line, or any line that they can choose in order to divide and rule us. So it is important for us Gambians to get it right, and of course UDP being a bigger party, their sanctity. But Brother Ben, democracy, as I said, is not straightforward. It is very, very, very chaotic, and what we see in the Gambia now. Do you think this is just an imagine of Gambia democracy building? We have the Gala and Gomsabopa, and all those real stakeholders that are taking up, demanding their right. So we have all these issues going on. We will come to that. But do you think this is a strength for Gambia in terms of their journey towards a mature democracy?
Thank you very much, Ebrima. Yes, I would say yes, and I'll elaborate. The reactions we are seeing are very healthy for democracy. Let's deal with the issue about people coming out, demand, especially Gala coming out with that leadership with the youths and Gomsa Bopa and I am sure other movements will follow. The only good government is a government that's been challenged, that's been held accountable. The only country that progresses is a country that is very vigilant, especially to protect their rights and to fight against corruption. You see, in the absence of this is why government deteriorate and become complacent and get us into crisis. Because in this sense of democracy, it's the freedoms we have and the government acknowledgement that they have a mandate, democratic mandate. They will believe that they can do as they wish. They forget that they were put in there to serve the people. This is where you do hear the statement as, "Oh, we give you guys freedom," or at least we are not beating you up, or at least we are not arresting journalists, or we are building roads. Forgetting that those roads are paid for by us. Mm-hmm. We put them up there, give them all the equipment for them to even do better, but they're not doing well. You see, talking about not beating us or anything. No, the freedoms we have, we provided those freedoms. The peace and security we provide, what they need to provide is to maintain them as an administration. This is why we call it the borough administration, to maintain it. But instead, they are the one that undermines these freedoms. Let me give you an example. How many police officers are enlisted in the Gambia police? I mean, whatever number you think of, it's not a fraction of Gambian people. Then if the Gambian people did not choose, or people in the Gambia did not choose to be law-abiding, there's nothing the police can do. We will run them over. But Gambians, choose to be law-abiding. Gambians choose to want to follow, to follow in the rule of law and due process in dealing with issues. And part of those Gambians, there will be lawbreakers and others. And this is where the people, the community and people work with the police in order to arrest those situations. But when the government become the crime, the criminal corruption, creating an environment for all these things, then that's where it deteriorates. And that deterioration, this is why Gala is coming out, Gumsa Bopa is coming out, and others to say, no, it's enough. Our government is not serving us. The government is serving interest groups, what we call cartels, economic cartels, drug cartels, and others. Because it's only Gambia that where you hear them legislate against price drops. Just imagine those things. And we know the background of all this, why it's happening, so on and so forth. In the case of the properties confiscated, taken away from Janneh, what happens to them? You see? And you can see the progress that with this protest, what happening now, they said, okay, we are taking it seriously now. And if more is coming out that the Janneh Commission was completely incompetent and was completely corrupt. Now, if they were not challenged, would we ever find out? This is why it is a good thing for our democracy. For it to happen. If we come to party politics, and we have to, hence we recognize that political parties are the feature of governments. Political parties are government in waiting. Political parties are the associations or organizations that will form an administration in the future. It's an important to see the exercise of democracy within those political parties, seeing the political parties showing competency in what they do and able to be disciplined and carry this thing out. You see, how you perform in opposition tells or give people hope or inform people what sort of government you will become if you are given the chance to run the country. Then these exercises are very important in our democracy, and it's very important in progressing our nation. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ben. And as we said, governments need to be challenged, and we can see the results. When the young people, Gumsa Bopa, the Gala came out, within short period, what they achieve is never been achieved in Gambian politics for long time, as far as I can remember. Sure. So, the government that is there, their performance and all those things, they get away with it because we allow it. If we demand a good government and good governance, we will have it, but that means people have to sacrifice. And these people are not like people who are useless. So in the same vein, political parties need to demand, for good governance, rule of law and justice and democracy within it. So to have 6, 7, 8, up to 11 people coming up and demanding that they want leadership, that also put pressure on UDP to restructure, to be prepared that people will be willing, no matter who you are, at some point people will demand these changes. And Brother Ben, historically, it's not easy to go for an incumbent and they just give you the leadership on the silver plate. Wherever we are, America, we saw Joe Biden, even UK here, we saw America, even some of the presidents, they have to be pushed, for them to leave power and all those things. So how significant now, and we can give this historical context, for people to demand, even at political party level, that they are interested in this, that no matter how sacrosanct you are as a leader or whatever, people will challenge you in terms of 2 terms and all those things, Give us a historical context, not only for Gambia, but even within Gambia, because even in Gambia, there are people who kind of tell truth to Jawara, and he disagree with them and he undermine them in a nice way. Jawara's politics is nice and all those things, So this is not only within UDP, but generations and generations, But it shows us how we are progressing towards democracy if people are willing to demand for what is good or their rights.
Alaji, thank you. Ebrima, sorry. The problem we have with politics is because most cases, people that go for leadership in politics, that's why we call them political animals. They have this tendency of selfishness. They have this tendency of self-centered. What they do. Regardless, they are the ones that would portray or call out that they are serving or they are servant of the people and everything else. But we all know when power is handed to them, they will act differently. And why this is, again, an example. You will realize that in most cases, in developing countries, political transitions always fail. In any form of transition will fail. Leadership transition fails because of the interest groups within. And let me give you an example. If you look at Senegal, the minute Senghor passed on to leadership, the party stayed intact, isn't it? Because yes, it was conducted in a way and manner that they transfer power. By annulling, crowning Abdou Diouf to take over from him. Then Abdou Diouf have two years also to contest election continue. But the minute Abdou Diouf lost power, what happened? The PS disintegrated. You see the same thing happen with Abdoulaye Wade. Abdoulaye Wade was successful to maintain the leadership of a party, but to the extent that he doesn't want to leave it anymore, but he wants to coordinate his son to take over from him. And if you know Abdoulaye Wade as an opposition, you never thought that Abdoulaye would come to a level that Abdoulaye would, in fact, amend a constitution in order to run for third term and, in fact, have plans to coordinate his son. He was one of the well-known opposition Democrats. But again, you see that tendency, I said, of the political animals or be selfish once they come to power. You look at Macky Sall. The way and manner Macky Sall came to power. He came from the establishment because of he fell out from the establishment because what Macky Sall was doing, trying to coronate his son. He went on the back wagon of the protest of a group called Y'en a Marre and the other opposition, and he ran the first round and came leading the opposition party. Then the opposition had to come together with him in order to form a coalition and defeat Abdoulaye Wade. You would think that that person have enough lessons not to do what Abdoulaye Wade have done. But guess what? He became even more brutal than Abdoulaye Wade. Abdoulaye Wade, about 14 people were killed before they were fighting for the third term and everything else. But for him, how many? Still, Senegalese don't know. It's over hundreds. in order to stay in power. They failed in transition. If you come back home to the Gambia, and many Gambians would not realize this, how progressive Gambian politics was. Hassan Musa Kamara, the former twice vice president, and being an education minister and foreign affairs minister and everything in the PPP government, very respected politician, very inclusive, very upright, championed two-term since 1978. He was talking about two-term issue. You know what that led to? Sadauda taking him out of cabinet.
All right.
Yes, because this is what people don't understand. Because
Brother Ben, this is very important for young people, because you know I never know there was somebody who was asking for two-term. I think two-term now is just a new thing in the Gambia. I didn't know historically there are people.
I will lend you the book. Hassan Musa's autobiography.
Yeah.
Now this is what happened. You see, in the Jawara government, Jawara became captured. You see, within the PPP itself, and of brother to the private sector, interests and groups, what we call cartels, and the competition within the UDP, the PPP, then Jawara's government, ensured that there was a lot of infighting. Now they went on to say, Andrew is propagating this because he will be the benefactor. You see, he's the vice president. Then 1981 happened. 78, 81. You see how long before we have this rebellion happening?
Yeah.
Andrew Kamara, as vice president, stayed in Banjul and stayed within the police these things, and in fact was able to communicate to Dakar, and that's how they those transactions, and they foiled the coup. But the minute Sadauda had an opportunity, Sadauda dropped him out of cabinet completely. And that would be seen as, because they used to rotate in the presidency, the vice presidency or ministries. But this time around, not even appointing him as an ambassador to one of the biggest embassies and so on, but it was really done on ceremonies. And do you know what the allegations were?
Go ahead.
That Andrews was undermining Jawara, because in the 1982 elections, there were many people, there were some candidates that within the PPP that did not, that were not selected to run as member of parliament. And those people went and stood as independent. But they went and said that all those people are loyal to Andrew. Andrew, that's why they went on independence. And Wajuara was part of that. Wajuara, who is the nephew to the president. Buba Balde was part of that, and others. You see, instead of seeing it as a popular democracy, where other people wanted to contest, but no, it did these things, and this was the reason he was marginalized. What did we end up with? The tension went on. Without him, he went on opposition. The young Bibi Dabo, I'm calling him young.
But that time he was young.
At the time, because Bibi was brought in from a technocratic background. Bibi was not known within the PPP. Bibi was not known in politics. But Bibi, from studying in France and other places, went and worked for the banks and ended up being an ambassador in Dakar. 1981, when the coup happened, he was already an ambassador in Dakar. You see, Bibi was not known to be involved in politics or anything. But when Sadauda brought Bibi, that was 2 years prior to Senghor giving transferring power to Abdou Diouf. And the similarity between Bibi and Abdou are very close. They are
all technocrats.
Technocrats and stuff like that. They were not known political animals. Now, Bibi came and obviously, served in the ministry, and next he was elevated straight to vice president. That sends a message that, Sadauda, probably after the coup, is realizing that he might be part of the reforms. He's trying to groom Bibi. And Bibi was feared. He was a disciplinary, he was a hard guy, and so on. But the campaign went on within the PPP. Start labeling him tribalist, and because they cannot label him a corrupt person. They cannot label him anything else, incompetent and anything, but they have to do this thing. And there's no evidence of that. But this is what politics is, especially in development. Now, it went on. Bibi served second term as vice president. Now, what would you think? That this guy obviously is grooming Bibi.
Yes.
Now, Sadauda went to Mansa Konko for a Congress. Because in the time of the PPP, First Republic, the Secretary General and leader of the party there's nothing like Flagbearer. It's known to be the president nominee for the decision when they win elections. Because you remember we used to have a parliamentary-based system.
Where the amount of parliamentarians you have, and then your party will win, and being the leader of the party, you will be the president nominee. President of, yes.
Yeah. Until 1982, when they started directly electing the president and electing the parliamentarian separately. But again, it did not change. As Sadauda being the Secretary General and leader of the PPP was going to be a flag bearer, whatever elections come in. This was enough. When they go to Congress, they would debate everything else, but one thing would not come up is challenge the president. Yeah. Now, Sadauda went and said that he intend to retire from politics and from the presidency and so on. The uproar. Now, the succession planning. Now, people thinking that, whoa, our rival Bibi likely to benefit. Because he said it when Bibi was a vice president.
Yeah.
But normally you will not think that if you make that announcement, you will not remove your vice president to bring someone else. Likely it's your vice president.
Exactly.
And Bibi became a target. And there was a good relation between Bibi and Sehu Sabali that broke off. Sehu Sabali went on a campaign to consolidate power, went on to get opinion leaders, and imams and Sefolu and others, and do a Mansa Bengo. And went and meet the president and demand that if you leave power, that's it for our country.
Wow.
Can you imagine those kind of statements?
Yeah.
And now people like OJ Jallow was very realistic and said, definitely, it's time for power to be transferred. But OJ was seen as loyal to Bibi because OJ and Bibi did work together at the commercial bank. You see? And now, instead of looking progressively how to arrange an internal democracy and retire Sadauda, no, they convinced Sadauda to stay. And those, late Nimasata Sani Bojan, who made the same statement, and Nimasata became a victim of that. Saying that he was going to back Bibi and so on. Then this is how the PPP from, I think it was 1991, when he said within 3 years, there was a coup d'etat.
There's a coup d'etat.
You see, what did that inform you? The failure. But let me give you a success story.
Go ahead.
And because now, when Sadauda left, what happened? There's no PPP.
There's no
now
PPP.
They try to regroup again. You see, when NCP had one leader until the demise of Sirif Mustafa, we didn't hear about a credible leader of NCP anymore. You see, GPP, that's Hassan Musa, a young party, probably two decades, 15 years after him. There's nothing like. Technically, we can say that when the junta came in, the party could not sustain it anymore and got disbanded and so on. But let's look at this example in Ghana. Because of Rawlings decided to have a succession plan.
Yeah.
And going into multi-party democracy and making sure he was not a candidate. That was instrumental. Extract himself, but make sure he has someone that he groomed. Guess what? They lost elections. For 2 terms, the opposition were in power. Wow. But what happened again? They came, after 2 terms, they came to power.
Yes.
And now they are in power. They came since Rollin left. They've been in power now till 4th term. Because one of the issues was John Atta Mills passed away in these things, and Mahama took over, and Mahama lost the elections. But again, Mahama now is running the second term. And he have already made a statement that I am not running. I will not try to look for any technicality. I am already looking into to finish here and target to work in international at the AU or somewhere. He said a statement.
Yeah.
You see the success story there.
Yeah.
Let me just give a brief about the challenges even in the United Kingdom here.
Go ahead.
Yeah. You remember that United Kingdom used to have ton of the government from every other time, because there's nothing like term for the government. The serving prime minister can call for elections within 3 months. And an election will be held. This was it. There's nothing like serving 4 to 5 years. But normally elections are held every 5 years. But they can call elections before. That's why they have so many prime ministers in their time. But something happened. Margaret Thatcher became a prime minister by default. At that time, Margaret Thatcher did not vote, did not even stood a chance. He was one-term MP. She doesn't have the experience or anything. And in that era, was when almost the entire parliament was white, middle age. 3/4 of it are aristocrat stock and stuff like that. And she was nothing like that. She was a female. It was a humble background. The father was technically working class, or they call it middle class if they want to make it sounds nice. She did not even intend to run. I forgot. I forgot the then conservative leader. But the conservative leader was going to be coronated. No one was going to challenge him. They lost an election and still they wanted him in. He was popular. Yeah. And one of the MPs decided that no, we should not allow a conservative party to go, have a leader go unchallenged. It's not healthy for their democracy. That leader went and approached Margaret and said to Margaret, "Do you want to be a prime minister?" Margaret said, "Yes, but I don't have a chance in hell." He said, "Just if you appoint me as your campaign manager, I can make you a prime minister." And it happened. What the strategy this guy applied was, let's say there were 50 MPs to vote. Yeah. In those days, the MPs only vote for the leader. You see, this is shows you what have evolved. Yeah. Now he went on to all the MPs, even those supporting the leader, and said to them, "This is not healthy for a democracy. I have suggested Margaret just to, for the sake of it, just to run. And just give a vote so that she can have 5-10 votes and it will look credible, because we know that she can't win." But the MPs he spoke to did not know that he spoke to all the MPs.
All of them. Oh, right.
Now it's a secret ballot. Guess what? The leader won, but won with a small this thing. They have, because if you don't hit 75%, you have to rerun the vote again. And when that happened, because of he did not win by big margin, he decided that he have to give up. He have to give up the seat to Margaret to lead. This is how Margaret came to lead. Margaret served for 15 good years, and there were problems happening because of some of the policies were hurting, and the opposition was getting powerful, because the Labour Party that stayed in opposition for 15 years decided to reform and bring about the class of new leaders, and they rebranded their party as the New Labour Party. And because of the policies, they targeted to the weakness of Margaret Thatcher, because they cut to some social services and education and all those kind of things were hurting the community, and they came out with a policy that targeted all those problems. And it was very effective, that the Conservatives were feeling the heat. You see, this is when Tony Blair came out as a leader. Gordon Brown, and all others came out of this thing, and they changed their strategy. They came from the left to the middle ground, and their policies on education, and jobs and every other things, put pressure onto the conservative. Now, this is what happened here, and this is very important for Gambian to know.
Yeah,
they use what they call the stalking horse strategy. They put MPs that would not likely or taken seriously to challenge Margaret Thatcher. Say that they want to, they call for a vote, that they need to change a leader. And eventually, the big ones came out, and guess what? Within the party, one of the most disciplined John Major, who was the finance minister, the treasury, took over from Margaret Thatcher. But still, they could not salvage it because the amount of scandal the conservatives were in. This was the scandal about arms deals done involving Margaret Thatcher's son and other deals that happened. And this is how New Labour came in. New Labour stayed for 18 years. Tony Blair stayed for 18 years. And for Tony Blair to be a leader, that was a gentleman agreement between him and Gordon Brown. They avoided to contest when the leader Smith passed away. They added and Tony Blair became the leader. That he's going to pass the leadership on to Gordon Brown. And when it went, again, political animals.
Yeah.
He betrayed Gordon Brown, and what Gordon Brown team have to do is fight with him, sabotage and everything else. Gordon become the leader. But Gordon lose the elections because of the sabotage have already destroyed.
They destroyed. Yeah.
See, this is a lesson for UDP to learn. If you don't fight healthy, when after selecting a leader, it will be difficult to come together.
Brother Ben, and your analysis also, what I can glean from it, if any party don't have a succession plan, and at some point you will going to have the division, the divisive politics that we are having in UDP today. If that transition has been managed, we have leadership within UDP and managed the transition earlier. Probably today will never happen, but because all these transactions, the transition that's gone successfully, leaders say no, we have to have an off because J.J. Rawlings was very bloody, but because he did the transition, and that's benefiting the party even today, So do you think the UDP leadership are the consequence of what we are having today? Their failure is the consequence of what we are having today. And probably this might be very catastrophic for UDP.
Now, the evolution of political parties. Like Ebrima, political parties would start from an ideology. Political party might come out from a protest. You see? We can say PDIS came out from an ideology. We say UDP came out from a protest. Because UDP was necessitated. It was not people sat down and think of socialism or this kind of this thing or not. No. They came together because they feel that they need to participate to rescue the country from the junta. This is how they came together, and they decided to look for a unifying leader. And the unifying leader was Ousainou Darboe, seen as, okay, he's a Mandinka, he's married within Banjul, and because the rivalry between, it was, at that time, Jawara government was between Mandinkas and Banjulians, for that matter, which was labeled as Wolof. But it was not, again, let me caveat this. I'm not saying Mandinkas in general.
Yes.
I mean political rivalry within the discourse. Because you have Mandinkas in UDP and then in PPP and in other parties. But in discourse, now Ousainou was seen as a unifying leader. Ousainou was seen as brave and other accolades. Because of, again, as a lawyer, he stood when it was very unpopular to challenge the state, to defend the people who were accused of the rebellion. and in fact representing the leader of the NCP then,
yeah,
and other politicians or other activists and non-activists, in fact, majority of them who were from the Fonians. Now, these are the things they recognized, and he was approached. And I heard him say this. He was in Salt Lake City for the Olympics when he was invited. And when he came, he had to sought advice from his family members and advisors, and then he decided to take up the decision. You see, this is how it came about. But again, when you have that, it's again accepted as an internal democracy. People agreed to form a party and create that leader, and the base of the party became the NCP, PPP, and others that are against the junta. Then it became like a protest party. And credit to UDP. Political parties don't survive under juntas.
yes,
They are kill off because of the pressure that comes out of juntas. And you can tell from the popularity of UDP. By the end of 2026, UDP was not what it was at the beginning.
yes,
Because what happens is people become tired. People become scared. And people become tired in a sense is it's not easy to be in opposition. Breadwinners and everything else. And the other thing is the fear factor. Arrest, torture, and on all form of oppressions. We know that was going on. They went through that. And when people say, then nobody wants the leadership, nobody was asking for the leadership.
yeah,
Nobody asked for the leadership. In any oppressive situation, until the leader dies, you will not want to change leadership, because once you do it, the party will disintegrate.
maybe they disintegrate inside, yes.
Yeah. Now, this continued. During this struggle, they had internal. They were internal. When Lamin Wajwara, and again, Lamin Dwyer made how to call it, challenge. But the challenge was not seen as popular challenge. That's why he failed Mr. and went and formed his own party. And he could not take anything from UDP.
Yeah.
Or the base. Because again, it was a party entrenched by the dictator. You see, the dictators do things, in many ways. It came out time that UDP have to be family. UDP have to be together. You die together. You have sweat together. You have lost your resources together. You have been arrested together. You becomes that entrenched as a party. You see? Yeah. And it's difficult to grow anymore, because you are not attractive as a party because of the oppression.
Yeah.
People will rather form small parties, because the problem with UDP, it's not that they have a problem. It was that they stood a chance of deposing the dictator. Obviously, then they become the main target of the dictator.
Of the dictatorship, yes, the brutality.
Yeah,
yes,
what it was. Yeah. Now, they went through those challenges. But when they came into government, they faced a different challenge. You see, political parties from struggle.
Yeah.
When they come into government, they face a different challenge. The challenge is sense of entitlement. Or I fought, I sweat. You see? Or we are not going to allow newcomers now, because we did the fighting, we did this, we did this. And part of this it was something that the challenge that UDP had to go through. And in going through this challenge, now in a democracy, there are opportunities now. You see two things happen.
Yeah.
Opportunism came in. Now, you can see some people left the UDP and went with Barrow. It's not that they like Barrow. It's not that they trust Barrow or anything, but they do, at that time they have measured they know the internal movements, and they realize that actually Barrow had the power. If I have to be anything now, I have to go with Barrow.
So it is all about self-interest and entrenching yourself. Yeah.
Self-interest. And you will see in the beginning, before Barrow split with Dabo, you see the amount of people flogging to join the UDP. You see the new people that flocked. Some of them were in the APRC. Some people never subscribed to politics, but they realized that they have to be in the UDP in order to have the opportunities.
Yeah.
And there are not many opportunities, and everybody will be entitled, especially those who are already there. Now they see other people coming, probably those who were already there, they don't have the competency to man certain offices or to do certain things, and they see other Gambians be appointed. They said, why did we fight and these people are appointed? Senegal is going through the same challenge. You see? And this created what? And when Barrow wanted to move these things, you see the amount of people that followed Barrow.
Yeah.
But you realize that most of those people, family, are still within the UDP. Do you know why?
Go ahead.
As I said, in the struggle, those families became UDP because of what they had to go through. For them, living UDP is like throwing away.
All they have struggle. Yeah.
They want to see a leader from the UDP. They don't hate Barrow, but they see that Barrow was given an opportunity from the UDP to be a leader, but he does not deserve that leadership. The person that deserved the leadership was Ousainou, Honorable Ousainou. You see, this was the conflict within. Then you have the newcomers. You remember Suku Singate?
Yes, the Suku.
The Suku Singate, the Almami Tal, many, the Tombong Sedis.
The Tombong Sedis and all those things, yes. The Dr. Amidst Scattred Janneh and all
and others, yeah. But even some of them, I'm not saying all of them, some of them stayed with Dabo thinking that because of the might of the UDP that Barrow cannot sustain this. That's why, again, you say their loyalty, even the performance within the UDP are lackadaisical. They don't have that sense of ownership in the UDP, or sense of loyalty in the UDP. It was a vehicle for them for opportunities they can have and go into government. Now, UDP after they went into 2021. You have seen the energy UDP had going into 2021.
Yeah.
The fundraising and everything else, because of the belief that UDP was going to win the elections. Myself and many other people believe that they have won that elections. It was rigged, but that's for another day again.
Yeah.
But you can see the resources and everything people were putting because they anticipate that UDP is going to win elections. The Alhaji contest and others. The minute they lost the election, he ran back to Barrow. Because of the pressure. As I said, that's why they cannot stay in opposition. He only stayed with UDP until the elections and realized another 5 years, I cannot sustain that. I'm a businessman, I have to go with Barrow. But 2021, after the disastrous election results, regardless, hence it was, how to call it, confirmed by the Supreme Court and everything, it has to accept it. Alhaji, this was the time UDP needed at that time, material time, to go for reforms. And for the leadership for that matter.
So you're arguing that that's the time, the transition to have another leader, to renew the energy, the parties and all those things. That's the time. And that will be the time where probably many people will not come for push and pull and all those things. And probably it will not be as divisive and toxic as we are today.
I'll tell you this. You see, you realize that towards 2021, apart from my dear brother, Lami Deda, but nobody, but I know Lami would do it out of principle, out of belief in democracy and stuff like that. I bet he was not expecting to,
no, to be, I think so,
I don't think so. I don't think so. No, nobody else came out to challenge Dabo. But I can tell you what, there were people who were within the UDP anticipating that Dabo might be stopped, disqualified.
All right.
And they were positioning themselves to take over if Dabo was disqualified.
Oh.
And I did that. Ibrahim, this is natural. It's politics. That's why I started to say that people that go for political leadership have a certain ambitions. That's why they are referred to political animals. You see, they have ambitions. You see, and now they calculate to see whether they have the leverage or not, or they position themselves for the eventuality of vacancies they can be, considered. And after the 2021, if you ask the UDP, the UDP leadership themselves, they'll tell you many people disappeared before the parliamentary elections.
Yeah.
And we are watchers. We are saying many people did not participate even in the campaign of the parliamentary elections.
Exactly.
Because of it was so disastrous. The results manufactured by NPP was so disastrous. Nobody thought. So they were saying that all the seats are going to go to NPP. When I said no, because I knew what happened. But you remember Oli Diba? Do you remember Oli Diba?
Yeah, I remember Oli Diba.
Yes,
nobody's seen Oli Diba now. It's just vanished, just like that.
Yeah, other people went quiet. But the minute the parliamentary election came out, interest came back.
The hope returned now,
Yes, then because some of them don't even know exactly what happened, how these things were. They just believe that the elections were stolen. But now this is like confirmation. Obviously, there was something wrong in the parliamentary. Something wrong in the parliamentary. Now, within this period, they came into the the local government, and you have the contest. Now, local government, again, the results coming out of the local government confirming that UDP is still relevant.
It's relevant, yes. And probably the election was stolen, yes.
Yes. Now, this is the issue where leadership is. If you realize, even for Honorable Dabo, nothing was talked about leadership. But that was the time to talk about leadership. Post-mortem, I look at it and said, let's go for an internal democracy. Who have interested in things, this is where we go straight away. And if anything have happened, by now it would have been solved, and they would have been very energetic and concentrating and going. The infighting would not have been at this level.
At this level, yes. Yeah.
At this level. Now, this is the toxicity. Down the line, I will explain. Because you will realize that normally you have Talib, Rohi, Yanks, and at some length, Lamin
Sane, sometimes, yes.
Sometimes these are the people normally. But I can tell you, they are not the only people that have ambitions to run, to lead the thing. How many people?
Today has confirmed that, Ben. What we have today, almost 11 people, including the loyal Amadou Sane, who think that Amadou Sane will put his name.
Thank you. Now, if you realize what happened here, I keep telling people, if you look at the backgrounds, Talib, as a young, what age did Talib come into politics?
Maybe around early 30s.
No, 20-something.
20-something years, yes. Because he was about nearly 30-something years now.
He was very young anyway.
Yes, he was very young.
Talib coming and seen as an outsider, and this is not a problem of UDP. Remember the ANC?
Yes.
They would term any newcomer as outsider because of the struggle they went through and everything they feel. Even Thabo Mbeki.
Yeah.
Well, when he was selected, because he was spared by he was outside of the struggle. He was doing the struggle in a different way, but he was seen as not authentic.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, people were saying he was given to him because of the reward of his dad.
Yeah, something like that.
The elder, yes.
Now, Talib coming in, Talib did not join the UDP as just to be an ordinary member or just to be an executive member. Talib joined the UDP to be president.
Oh, right.
Yeah, this is.
So you mean Talib came with the ambition to go straight and be a president in UDP?
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
Look at the trajectory. It's not something I am thinking, but look at the trajectory.
So that means because
Talib
UDP is a
joined
bigger party.
Talib going to be the candidate. I'm not saying that his family might not have voted for me or card carriers of UDP.
Yeah.
But probably even some of them might be, but some would not, because of that would have been a risk. I mean, threat to a risk taken for the junta.
Yeah.
They might empathize. They might have supported one way or another. But he came in to be a candidate, mayoral candidate. In politics, how many city mayors do you know end up challenging the executive?
A lot. Yes.
Boris Johnson.
Even so has to be, yes.
In Russia, in everywhere else.
Yeah.
It's a platform. It's a platform. Because Banjul is not considered like a big constituency, but KMC and BAC are, sizable constituencies. That your popularity can propel you to have a leverage to challenge the executive. In this case, he came in and he was walking towards that throughout his thing in the party. But again, from the beginning, it was seen as favored by Honorable Hussein. Because you had, that's not me saying it, you had young, people saying it from the party, saying that, he have been politicking, he have been reported to Hussein, he have done this, he have done that. Hussein would tell them, I'll talk to him, or they had this thing. Now, you realize the friction become between Rahilo and Talib.
Yes.
Before Yanks. Yanks came late. When Rahilo realized, I don't believe that Rahilo was in it to be a candidate. Rahilo was in it for a leverage. You see, she might not come out very eloquent, but she is very strategic.
She is very strategic. She is very probably, people are saying that he's. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, very strategic. Rahil realized that there's a leverage here to be built, and started to position herself or to portray that she wants the leadership, especially when she had the Rafaela, Rafaela, and everything for her was a leverage, not only for the UDP, but something to trade for NPP if there's a need. This is my belief. And you look at the trajectory, the more there is a threat to be poached by the NPP, you see a tension will fly up against Talib. The opposition was for Talib as a leverage, because already identified that Barrow and others have identified and believed that Talib was going to be the UDP flag bearer. That tension between them, this is what it was. Then, what brought Youngs to it? Youngs at the beginning, you realize Youngs was not even part of any, nobody mentioned him for any.
No, nobody was mentioning he was in, he saw no interest, yes.
Yeah, people were assuming that he's coming in as a new mayor and some going up. But something triggered him. The rivalry between Youngs and Talib came from people that believe that Talib is hijacking, coming in. He came in, took the mayoral, and now he's coming in to take the presidential. You see that this thing. And that time too, Dabo did not show interest. Dabo was playing it safe. Now the tensions are flying up. With Lamin Sane, at the beginning, in fact, I think people were suggesting him due to his thing at the OIC and something they know about him and so on. But I've never heard of Lamin Sane team. I've never seen any controversial from online pulling and pushing between Lamin China against this guy or that, or Talib, or anybody else. But you remember that they have their Mansakonko moment in Makati when they had a 2022 Makati Congress. It was so controversial because at that time now, they started to look at to position themselves for the party leadership. You see the Talib National Organizers Secretary position, and in fact, that I think is Karamo something, that one they wanted, at that time they wanted him to be the campaign manager.
Yeah.
And it was, they suspected that he was aligned to Talib. And what the other groups did was to make sure they poach and put Sabali there.
Yes.
Knowing that Sabali have already been anti-Talib.
Anti-Talib, yeah.
Yeah, you see, and I cannot remember exactly some amendments or arrangements made, but everything was kind of arranged to quieten the revolt. But different teams or interest groups were looking at positioning themselves on how to influence the leadership. And from then on, it continued. The tension continued. Yeah. Now, Youngs came out and started to challenge, technically position and challenging that it's not going to happen here. We're not going to coordinate, Talib is going to take over from us. I never believed that Youngs was already ready to run for president. He might want it, but he was not ready.
I think he himself said that, he said that he want to concentrate on gaining experience as a mayor. He's not ready. But suddenly things change. Something was triggered that anyway.
Yeah. Now, then, as I said, there were so many other people that were interested, and Lamin Sane is interested. But as it came out, this is where it comes to say that if Dabo runs, I'm not going to contest. But if Dabo did not run, I will contest.
Yeah.
Okay. Why would Lamin say that? Because whenever Lamin says that, Lamin tells you that, oh, I am part of this party. My father was.
Yeah, he said Dabo is his father. Yeah. He's seen it as a father. Because Dabo is his father.
At the same time, he's not going to do that.
Yeah.
This is his reason. But he did not say that I don't want to lead the party.
No, he didn't say that.
Yeah, no, but my ambitions are not like an animalistic in a way that come may what I have to be. I have to push that. Now, the others realize that probably they don't have the leverage, or they don't want to come and challenge in the open. And until Dabo said, oh, I am going to run. Now that became a problem for them, because they were still looking at they might run. This is now Dabo, I'm not going to run. Youngs came out to say, if Dabo runs, I'm not going to run.
Yeah.
But Talib said the same thing.
Yeah.
Now,
he said that a couple of times, not only one time.
Many times. Okay.
Many times. Yeah.
Now let's go back to this. For someone who wants to run, who wants to be listening, we all know that he really have the ambitions to be
the president, to be the leader. Yes.
Yeah. Now, why would you say I won't run if someone's on? It's a democracy. You see, I'll come to that point. But this is again, this is again. That's why my position is, if the incumbent stayed in power and become a challenger, it becomes very toxic. Because what happens is people are not showing their true nature. People are not expressing themselves with facts, and they are not telling him their true nature or what they believe.
So that means because Dabo is there, a lot of these people are not showing their true color. They are saying things that they don't believe at all, like Talib and all those things, just because Dabo is there. If Dabo has been out of the equation, probably we will have seen the true color of all these people because
Yes.
you know, and probably it will not be as toxic as it is today.
Toxic, no, it wouldn't have this toxic, especially if it have been done just after the elections. That's why parties do it after the election, at the heat of the moment. You do it. You see, let me show you an example. PDIS, when Quran came out to challenge, you see, the tension was in there.
Yes.
And it was only Quran that came out. But you'll be surprised to see that Khalifa did said, I am not going to run again. Yeah. But since then to now, nothing has been said who is going to run.
Who is going to run? No, I saw some polls going around. They're saying those who want Khalifa to run for one more time, you know, people. Now, so I say, you know, go ahead.
Now, Quran came out from the outside.
Yeah.
And you see, this is why I'm bringing this to show you it's not fault to Talib. He's a politician. Talib came out from the outside. He wants to be president. Quran came from the outside. He wants to be president. Isn't it?
Yes.
Quran, when nobody else challenged Khalifa or challenged the party to go through the process, but Quran did. And when he did, the establishment pushed him out. It's an establishment thing. It's not a tribe thing. It's not a nothing thing. People use tribe to divide. It's an establishment.
And this is very important because sometimes people think this is UDP thing, you know, Daba and all that. What it happened with Hussein, Khalifa Salah, you know, and Quran, it wasn't as toxic, but Quran was easily pushed. We know he was pushed.
And remember, Quran did not stay long in the thing. Quran was not holding an executive position.
Yes. You
see that point? Now, Talib, and you can see that Talib was the one agitating, more than anybody to this thing, putting his pictures with Dabo Ahmed, so positioning himself.
And sometimes using his own pictures, you know, and at the UDP rally. Yes. So he was pushing for his agenda. Yes. Yes. You know, the roadmap is there, and I have to achieve it. And it has to be by force.
He's a politician.
Yes, but he's a politician, of course.
Yeah. Yes. This is how, again, looking at Quran. Now, this thing transpired. It became toxic. It's as if UDP was forced to bring this forward now. Because of the toxicity. How many times did you hear, oh, we resolved it, or we had a meeting, we did this? Until Youngs came out and said, Rahi said all this to me.
Yes.
That's the level. They still try to manage it and realize this is not going away. Now, believing that now they're going to bring a process which is going to make it go away. No. And we'll get to that. Now, we wonder, you know, I said, I'll come back to Talib saying, Wah Wahid.
Yeah, Wah Wahid, yes.
Okay, now the Talib team. I'm not sure whether you've seen that statement. Talib team were saying that the reason Talib said what he said, not Talib, Talib said what he said, was the understanding that Dabo was not going to run. That Dabo have promised Talib and his family, father and that passed away,
mom, yes.
Family, that after the 2021 have already promised Dabo, Dabo have already promised them that Talib will be taken over from him. This is, Dabo will come and deny it. Or
Talib himself said Dabo didn't do that. He said, you know, at Kerfatu, he said, you know, Dabo is not. Talib once they asked him whether people are saying that, you know, Hussein favored him, he chose him to be.
I mean, this is few days. This is few days.
Oh yeah. The recent one. Go ahead.
Yeah, the most recent one. I mean.
Yeah.
Because that is categorically like a statement to say that it was agreed that Talib was going to be kind of coronated or supported by Hussein to become the leader. This was an agreement that they said they had after 2021 elections, and as recent they tried to engage Dabo again, and Dabo refused. This is what they said. But again, they said the time they were putting their
application. Yeah.
They were not aware that Dabo have, and it was a day before the deadline, Dabo have put in an application. But the minute they put in their application, and they made that statement, evidence came out to say no, Dabo have put his application last week, but they some of them are saying no, but it was not announced. We didn't know about it. This is why Talib put his candidature in. Now, you see, this is what happens when you keep it this way, and this is what happens when the incumbent itself becomes part of the interest. You see, and have you seen recently Dabo been attacked directly by people you never thought they would attack Dabo, or challenge him, people never thought. And I can tell you, there are so many people who doesn't want Dabo to be their candidate, but they are not going to come out and tell you. They're not coming out and tell you. Because they went and believed that, no, they want a new leader. Some people think that Talib have to be. Other people think, Lamin Sani have to be. You see, even people think that Youngs have to be.
Yes, yes.
You see, all these things are there. But there are people who tell you that Dabo have to be candidate. But some of those people are saying it, but they don't mean it. If you talk to them in private, I'm talking from experience. They'll tell you, yeah, but because I don't want Talib to take over. Or some of them will say, but because we cannot have a unifying, unify if Dabo did not run. Because Lamin Sani is not going to put his thing, not going to put his candidature. Now they're saying that Lamin Sani is not putting his candidature because of Hussein running. Now, then if Hussein did not run, Lamin Sani would have put in his candidature, and others would have put in his candidature. Nobody thought about Amadou Sani.
No.
Now Amadou Sani is a candidate. Now there are rumors, counter arguments, counter allegations are going on loyalty of Talib, or relationship Talib and this thing. And some people still did not trust that if Talib put in there, he must have blessing from Dabo. I've seen posts saying that. This is what is making it toxic. The worst thing is not a physical fight. The worst thing, Ebrima, the problem is distrust.
Go ahead. Okay, yes.
Distrust come into an organization. It's difficult to fix that. When people have arguments, and even to the things, a physical fight, it can be resolved. But once there's distrust, it's into the core of the party, and the talks, and then especially if they don't stop now, to start to look for a path. You see, if an organization is evolving, and for the leaders of that organization put in a process, there's always what Obama called the third way. In strategic intelligence office management, when we build strategies, we will find a third way. We will look at the best to say this is the best and this is what we can go with, and we have to start with this, and we can fall back to this one and fall back to that one.
Yeah,
because if any of this materialize, it's good, but the best is this. In this transition, this process, I hope UDP have thought about this. But eventually, if any candidate comes out, how do we come together and fix this and move? What do we have in place? One, in many cases, it could have been seen. What do I mean? Now they've gone to a tour comeback. When they look at it, the party thinkers should look at it and say, and count, what we call counting the votes.
Yes.
You can find a way to see who is likely the front runner and this. At times it goes wrong, but you owe it to your organization to look at this. Now, and you look at it, if Ben comes out a leader, what does that mean for the party? Because I am told it's a secret ballot. And Ebrima, secret ballot, when people know that they can put their vote without people finding out who they vote for. They can vote for someone you never thought they would be voting for.
So but then this can go anywhere, and that begs the question.
If they
can
do
go anywhere, but that also begs the question, will this chaos, division, this mistrust, which is very, very deep, will it weaken UDP's chances in the next general election, especially if they don't get it right? So that means that's going to impact the Gambia also generally.
Thank you. I mean, I've taken note of that to say that the future of UDP and the chance of defeating Barrow. I've put that on note. Now, that's why I said, come may what, UDP should build in through the process something to capture. It's like a scenario that it might lead to the party splitting. Because now, what will lead to the party split? Because there's already mistrust.
Yes.
Now, it's easy for some, one prominent candidate, because some of these candidates are proxies. I can tell you that.
They are proxies.
They're proxies.
Oh,
UDP been in politics for a long time, bro. And if you understand how these things come out, they are proxies. You see,
that means, because you say UDP has been in politics for a long time,
right.
Is that showing their resilience, or there's a strategy that they are pursuing and all those things?
No. The problem is, I think, having the incumbent running against. You see, if the incumbent was not running, he'll be seen as an independent arbiter.
Yes.
But he's running, he will be seen as having interest, and because of he's the incumbent, power of incumbency. Now, if it was show of hands, how many people you think will show hands for Dabo? But if it's not whole of show of hands, can you tell me that most people you think they're gonna vote for Dabo will vote for Dabo?
No.
That's why secret ballot is dangerous.
Yes.
But again, when you go into this, if you have 3 candidates, it's easy to deal with.
Yes.
Now, if you have 11 candidates or whatever it is, there's a vetting process.
Exactly.
Now, the vetting process, some will not make it, out of the table. They'll be chopped at the vetting thing for one reason or the other. Because they have an ethics committee, they have sort of a committee that will look, and they might rule based on certain things. Now, if a permanent member, I don't want to name names. Let's say by looks of it, we see A, B, and C are the 3 permanent members. If one of those people are chopped at the chopping board, you think that person will not crowd foul?
Yes.
Already the cloud of how to call it? Suspicion is already on. That if not handled well. That's why I said when they put the process, they should make sure they have ways to manage. This is why I said the process is 1. 2 is the what if, the eventualities. Look at candidates. This 2, 3. Finally, if we have the candidate, and if it's not the desirable candidate or whatever it is, how are we going to manage it?
But Ben, because I'm struggling to understand whether the internal party structure of UDP is strong enough to deal with the difficulties that UDP is, and how things are going, the mistrust, probably the chances of chopping somebody, because these are people who, I don't know, they have strong institutions, and splinter groups might just dissect and go and form their own party.
Yeah, let me give you an example. The improvements in the Labour government and Labour Party, improvements in the Conservative and Liberals. Remember, the Labour Party used to be only the Labour National Executive personals and the union executive. They used to choose the leader. Now, to be more democratic and to more these things, because the Labour Party was formed by the unions. That's why they still have a greater share, and their vote always
sponsor a lot. Yes.
Now, some of the adjustment was that the union members of the vote, members of the union supporting Labour Party would have a vote in selecting a Labour leader. But the Labour executive too will have a vote. But Labour members, ordinary members, don't have a vote. That's the improvement they did. Now, for Keir Starmer to win this thing, he had to go and maneuver and did policy bargain with the unions.
Yes.
Like renationalizing the railways, renationalize certain things, environment policies, and some policies, and did bargain so that he can win over. In the Conservative, used to be Conservative party executive that would vote for a leader. They changed that. Now the Conservative Party executive would select up to the last two. Then the vote is to the Conservative card holders. This is why Sunak won the election last time. This is why this thing won the elections. Because you come to the last two, then you go and campaign among your members, that card carriers. And they make sure, again, card carriers would be certain dates. Because if not, Labour could have sent people to go and register as card carrier and vote. But they make sure that, okay, when the election is announced, now they said, no, that's it. From this date, the card carriers, these are the eligible voters to vote for a leader. But, okay, with the UDP system here, is the executive, I understand.
Yes.
And some representative from these things. This is what I understand. Now, if you have, let's say, 150 people now, secret ballot, it can go either way.
It can go anyway, yes.
But now, they have to determine the people last two to go or last three to challenge. Now, how many people will be off the chopping board? Then from the chopping board, then you might have an elections where it will be written down to last two, last three. You see, because they, according, I don't know how they're doing it, but according to Labour or these things, you have to have three-thirds of the votes in order to, and that's why they keep on dropping, and other people drop and come and join and someone else. But this is the situation they're having now. If this is not handled, the toxicity online, I know Gambians say, why this is only online. That's not true. People behaving online are acting with the people within the executive and around the executive.
So that means groups that are there, their people are behind the people who are online.
Yes.
Because we are seeing they're not condemning them. They are just under each other's trough, and they are disrespecting even the party leader, but nobody says nothing. So this is not only on social media. That's why I say believe this is social media, but no, this has deep roots.
Now, some people are saying that if Talib did not win, he's gonna form his party. I don't know how true it is, but if that is true that Talib does that, how is that going to affect the UDP?
Massively.
Because again, but careful, we're talking about UDP. You have many members of UDP out here supporting Talib, but would their families support Talib if Talib leave the UDP?
No, probably not, because we saw people.
What I explained to you, this is the problem.
Yes, and they have a very, very, very strong council of elders, which are very, very, very influential.
Not because they went through a struggle.
Yes.
The families were part of the struggle. You see, the families were part of the struggle. Now, that's what, again, politics is numbers. I mean, the greater number, political party members are never greater than the rest of the population.
No.
If you have a good strategy, good leadership, you can capitalize on that. You can go and build coalitions and others. Talib would have to decide that and his team. But if Hussein wins, would it affect the party? Or would it unify the party? Because there are many people
for the party, I think it will unify them. I think so.
Yes, many people say we unify them. But again, we have seen, and you see, this is where the problem is. There are certain people who are not they are not showing their hands. They show their loyalty to Usenu. Behind the scene, they believe that Usenu candidature is not the best for them.
It's not the best for yes.
But they, because of out of respect or whatever you call it, this is why when the incumbent runs, there's going to
That's
be
always a problem. Yes,
yeah.
yes.
You see, when if he was an independent arbiter, it would be easier even to keep these people in line.
Yeah. And Brother Ben, that's why we want Barrow to have the 3 years and he get out of the way. So that things can be reformed. But because of Barrow doesn't get out of the way, nothing get reformed. Things are getting even worse. So any party that want to change, you want to metamorphosize, then you need to leave the person that is there so that the new ones can go and they will have the confidence, the courage, to do what they want, and their true colors will be shown. So that's very, very important. Yes.
Yeah. Now, I tell you, it's a big risk for all of them. But the bigger risk is with Hussein. It's a big risk that Talib took. But as a politician, risks are part of it. Because certain people look at it to say, if this person can say that he's not going to run, that he's run, and coming with all these political excuses, would I trust him? Some people would look at it to say, yeah, it's the mix of things, it's politics. I mean, if you look at every politician around here, they have moved their positions one way or the other. Even the Margaret Thatcher that said that I don't have how to call it again, turning back. I mean,
yeah. The woman is not for turning back. Yes,
turning back. Yeah.
So at some point, she turn back. Yes, when they hit.
Some people I don't think in the academic of things might be seen as a concern, but when it comes to voters, they will not see it. If not Barrow, or any other candidate could have. They can point to the candidate. Or you two, you said this before, but your position.
You flipped. Yeah.
You flipped. You see, it's flip flopping. We all know that. Now, that's not the risk. The risk is how do you measure your popularity within the UDP? Because you need the UDP base. And probably he's encouraged by the UDP base. But again, I know they have a mind that Talib is appealing to Greater Gambia. How much now this is for them to gauge, to see whether they can leave UDP if they are not elected, and how that can be seen, or they have to stay within the UDP. For Dabo, it's if you win, you have to win the presidency. Because, and in this case too, is how if people did not believe, because 2021 people believe that he was going to win.
Yes.
If people don't believe that you're going to win, because I can say in the quiet districts, people are not believe he's not winning candidate.
Yeah.
They're not saying it. Now, are people going to sit on their hands? No. In donations, in working for the party and others?
Probably.
But these are the risks. Yeah. Now, if you go through the elections and not win, that's a personal, because you put yourself. This is not like because it's a well contested. You put yourself there. It's not like there are no, like in 2016, there was no
candidate. No candidate, no, yeah.
Yeah. But this time it's a popular candidate, you see, but it's decided to run. And if you fail, what does that say? And the party might implode. Yeah. The party might implode.
And Brother Ben, the public confidence also in UDP, is this infighting and divisions and mistrust and all those things gonna diminish their credibility as a party?
It has a potential, but as I said, if it's managed, it's an advantage. Internal democracy, if it's done right, well, in fact, it rejuvenates the party and make people to see interest. But the mistrust within the party. Imagine if there's mistrust within you guys. What about the people looking from the outside?
Yes. Yeah.
And you see, if Gambians keep on saying this on social media, I tell you one thing. Social media is a reflection of a greater stuff that is happening on the ground.
Oh, yes.
It's us.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
But people, if it doesn't favor them, they say, oh, this is just social media. No. if you see political parties, organizations, and everything spend that much on social media, they know the importance of it. But because of it doesn't favor you, I mean, you discount it. I mean, you are fooling yourself.
And Brother Ben, the challenge that the party is going through, if they get it right, that can be a platform for reform also. And
Yes.
It can be an envy for other parties to go, because what UDP, they are pace setters. No matter what you said here, it's only UDP that does, a leadership context like this.
Yes.
No other party, political party. If you challenge Barrow today, you'll be a dead man. You will not survive. We saw it with Doi. So all credit to them in essence. If it works for them, but it can potentially break them as a political party. But this is a pace setter. As I said, we are a budding democracy. We have to try things. Things has to try it. And when they are tried, if we get it right, sometimes it's a trial and error. If it works for them, whoever we are, at least other political parties probably should emulate them and see, this is a way forward. And probably UDP will reform in terms of their structure and probably go for a primary. Who knows?
That's why I said it depends how the process is handled.
Yes.
It depends on the process. This bickering and everything can be controlled. It can be competitive, but certain mistrust, these things have to be addressed. And it is to the interest of the people contesting to sit among themselves, discuss it, to say that, look, it will not serve us right. This thing, it's to our interest. Our supporters and everything behave themselves, and we stop all these counter accusations, and leave the process and believe in the trust process to be transparent and the outcome. And remember this: if someone comes out, let's say now, if the incumbent wins, Honorable Dabo wins, it will be technically the same thing. Technically, there will not be that much of movement within the positions of leadership. But if Talib comes out now as the Flagbearer leader, obviously he might want to inject certain energy and want to probably, mistrust or whatever it is, people he have confidence in to be in certain strategic position.
And probably those can be outside from UDP.
No, because you have to be a UDP member to serve as the executive.
Yeah.
But and he will not want to be seen as running a parallel group with the UDP.
With the UDP, yes.
Yeah, he will not want to be seen that. If he comes to campaign, UDP might see it strategic and agree on how to, affiliate to the different movements. But to see this thing would be seen as destructive. But what I'm saying here is, some of the members, would Amadou Sane win? If Amadou Sane wins, means Dabo is going to retire. It's my position. Then that will be a major shift. If Talib wins, Dabo going to retire. Major shift. If Dabo wins, you see, it's not going to be a major shift. But what about the people who have shown interest in this thing? Would they benefit from, because like in the Conservative or in the these things or other parties, when campaigns happen and finish, people get leverage, and they might be coopting in the executive.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, because even in UK, the mature democracy is become toxic and divisive for political parties. But anytime one win, they reach out to their opponents, the one that insult each other, to bring them so that they can have a united front. So this is not, it's not only Gambia or UDP that is so divisive. Any transition is very divisive in UK. I've been in UK for almost 20 years now.
Remember what I said about the third way.
Yes.
The first way is putting the process. And and going through that process and see, okay, if you do this, this person might win. Or one of these three would be like the final, and one of these two like the winner. Now, the second process is within the process. You see, now you try to avert those problems that you think that it might, if eventually, if you get to the end and someone's win, it might. And one of those is to keep the discipline. Strategy to keep the discipline. Bring the leaders together, let them come and do a press conference together, speak to the party, speak to the electorate, and campaign in a very civilized way that keeps the
And that's maturity, but it's one of the biggest challenge for underdeveloped countries like ours. Yes.
Yeah, the final strategy is to put the cap on what we call to put the cap on is imagine, and I call you up to say, I want you to serve technically as a running mate. You see me?
Mm-hmm.
I might see you as a very popular one. You might even take second from me.
Yeah.
I said, I want you, to come in to serve as this. I might not even say my deputy or anything, but to serve as this position. And that would show that if we win, you have a stake.
You have a stake.
I will not say that because of your contest against me, I'm going to throw you out. I might look at the person who take part and bring them in. I might even get someone within the campaign of one of the other people that I see is very strategic, have proven themselves.
Yeah.
And put them to positions. Because there are so many deadwoods in the UDP now.
Yes.
They just occupy positions. You don't see them, you don't hear them. Now, again, this might help the party if they do it that way. Whoever wins, the party will come together and know they all have stakes. In politics, it's leverage. If people don't have stakes, most cases, like in the executive, if they don't have stakes, they don't bother. They don't bother. The party militants' stake is to see the party win. They are more committed than the executive. I can tell you that. These are things that needed to be considered. Now, if we come to the point of what if UDP does not do this right, how does it going to affect? Because we all know that Barrow wants UDP to be dismantled. And we know the commissions is part of that.
Yes, a lot of people have raised the commission's impact on Talib,
Yes.
but I don't want to read the comments today. I just want to leave you to explore so that, because there's a lot of things at stake here for not only UDP, but for the Gambia. Because, a good transition is very, very important. And to have a strong opposition does not disintegrate, especially an opposition that have been there since day one to today. It's not good for Gambia, for UDP to disintegrate, for Gambia generally, not for individuals. I'm not mean individuals. So we want these parties to be strong. We want them to have strong democracy. And this might be translated and have a bigger reflection on the Gambia as a country. So it's nobody's interest for UDP or any of the political parties to disintegrate. What we want them to be accountable, to be challenged. Nobody should just kowtow, to cringe and crawl for these leaders without the necessary accountability, because that's not good for our country.
No.
And all of us, what we aspire is to have a Gambia that our young people will stay, that our young people will have a strong democracy where they will stay in that country. Because what is happening in Europe now, we are seeing the far rights are taking over, the nationalists are taking over. So it's nobody's interest. So this is why we want them to get this thing right. So as you said, but a lot of people have raised this council thing on Talib. That's the whole program by itself anyway. So
you know the people who are to consider the process. These are part of the things they will consider. I don't know exactly how they're going to do it. These are part of the things they consider. Do you think it's a mistake for the commission to extend to end of month?
No, it's not a mistake. When I saw it, I'm not surprised.
Because if the commission have concluded 2 days ago or so, before the vote, we were not going to hear anything from the commission because they will take time to write their report. In that time, Talib will be elected. Talib can be elected. But now, I am thinking, let me emphasize, that NPP might do this in order to throw, spanner in the works for UDP process. You get my point?
I get your point.
Now, to make it complicated on UDP to select a flag bearer. The same thing if Youngs was part of the bid. Youngs have a ongoing
case, court case. Yes, that's been pending still. Yes, probably they can easily trigger that also to come up.
Yes, if he was a candidate, they could have triggered. You see, these are all the challenges. That's why they have to really make sure they have this middle bit that they walk into the discipline and to control that bit, a control measure. To avoid mistrust and things going fluff. To get to the end. Because if that happens, the mistrust continue. Anyone that leads would have a problem bringing the party together.
Yeah, but Brother Ben, and also, this is one of the greatest tests for UDP. A lot of people say they went through a lot and they are very resilient. But this is another level. If they can, if they can weather this and still be intact,
yeah,
that will show an actual resilience, because you don't Labour's conservatives have been here for 100. We don't want parties to come 6 years, 20 years, and they're disintegrated like PPPs and all.
That's why I said the performance of a party in opposition tells you what they will be in government.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's why internal democracies are very important to measure.
Within parties, yes.
Within parties. If they cannot have an internal democracy, if they cannot manage their evolution to be progressive, if they happen to win an elections or be in office, it's going to be a disaster. But if they have that resilience and get into office, obviously we expect them to.
Brother Ben, what is the way forward? What is the solution? I know we have to wait and see how UDP will handle this. If they get it right, it's good for Gambia and Gambian politics and internal democracy within parties, and that can be a yardstick for other political parties, so that people can come and challenge incumbents if they are not doing, or if they are staying, or they think they are not serving the larger interests of the party and the country. So what is the way forward? And at the end of the day, this is Gunjur Online, and we have our Gunjur brother Lamin Jedabo that comes from the rooted from Gunjur, part of the mix. We have 11 people, but of course Gunjur Online will have to be a little bit biased and talk about Lamin Jedabo here. So give us a way forward. And what about Lamin Jedabo? In terms of he coming as an intellectual. It's just like a Bibi Dabo or the Abdou Diouf and all those things coming, into the mix, but this is party politics. This is internal party politics. This is a committee going to decide, not the primary.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is because many people, you ask them, they didn't even know Lamin Jedabo was in the UDP.
Yes.
You realize that?
Yes.
Now, Lamin Jedabo is not into party politics, popularism.
Yes.
He is always in the, you would believe that he's an activist than a politician. He's always looking, going to challenge cases, or proceedings or legal matters and stuff like that. But you never see him try to put himself, popularism, trying to, he does the thing he does because he believes in that. Mm-hmm. In the case of, I can tell you, if he was a political animal or that kind of thing, the case of Ousseynou Bojang, he was going to exploit that.
Yes.
You don't hear people giving him credit for what he's doing. And I made a program and I explained, in fact, what makes the NPP fail in this case is because of a lawyer like Lamin Jedabo have stood for Ousseynou Bojang.
Yeah, he exposes a lot of things. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and this is done pro bono. You see, because the amount of hours, time, and the way he went about this case is still going because of the defense is good. They would have concluded. Mm-hmm. It's the defense determining the case. But you never hear him come out to do press conference about it.
No.
This is what a political thing would do. And now the vote, as you said, what is happening here is about the establishment. And this is the election here is establishment and talent.
All right.
Yeah.
The establishment and talent.
Yes, talent is not the establishment.
All right.
I'm not sure when you see me because talent came in after the struggle.
After the struggle, yes.
The establishment is the struggle.
Yes.
And you can see some of this push and pull with talent. It's not because of tribe or anything.
Yeah, and that's important to emphasize. A lot of people are saying because he's not this, he's not this. But this has nothing to do with tribe. We are putting this.
There are always idiots.
Yes.
See, there are always idiots around, especially on social media, that will do that.
That will always do that.
They are weak. They will try to look at. They do it to me.
Yeah, they did it to you. And people are very, very lazy just to come and say, because Talib is not a Mandinka, or anybody who against Talib is a tribalist and all those things. That is why they are doing this. Because I saw some people saying, now the other people are getting in. Why didn't they criticize those?
But most of the Talib supporters are Mandinkas.
His mom, his dad's mom are all Mandinkas,
in UDP,
So this has nothing to do. This is individual interest and individual positioning themselves for leadership. And going through this journey is always going to be toxic. Nobody is going to go into politics and you come free without people challenging you. This is what we want. The insult and the whatever, because I've never seen any politician who has been insulted than Hussein Dabo since Jammeh's time. All the things that have been put on him, no politician in my experience has ever gone through that. Can you say because he's a Mandinka, that's why they are doing all this to him? No, that's not true. So people can easily come in.
And you realize something.
Go ahead, boy.
Again, I told you when UDP were in government. You see how popular it was. Everybody wanted to be at their candidate. Everybody wanted to join them. It's the same thing in the internal politics. The people they perceive that they will likely win would always have an advantage because they will always have support, because most people are supporting them, because if the outcome becomes that they are winners, they end up becoming presidents, they will say that I work for you to be president. Sense of entitlement. Some of them are benefiting now. That I'm helping you with fist money, I'm helping you with this, I'm helping you with your job, I'm giving you a job, or this. This is politics. You see, that's why I'm emphasizing on this is it will become, like in the case of Lamin J. Dabo, things will go against him because people don't know him that well in the UDP and some stuff like that. They might not see it as a winning candidate. That's why it's important to perceive, to able to convince you that you are a winner. You have to be the campaign. Now, that's why I said it's the Talib and the establishment. And if I say Talib and the establishment, it's Talib, Amadou Sane, Ousainou Dabo, and who else?
And then it's interesting to see Body Toure's name there. Did you see that?
Body Toure
it's an establishment, isn't it?
Yes, it's an establishment. But Body Toure, in the midst of things, he's a minor, let's say he's a minor establishment. You see, most prominently, these are the people. It's Ousainou and Ahmad. And some people, I say, they put their name for a reason. They put their name for a reason. I might not know, but this is where the stalking horse. To split the votes at the beginning, so that one person, and after they take their supporters with them to support another candidate. These things are done. Depends how UDP is going to run this thing. And you understand the ballot exactly, then you count the numbers. Then you bring a candidate that will capture. Now, if I bring a Badibunga candidate, I might get the executive of Badibunga.
Yes, and Sulayman Sao is there, so probably.
Yeah, my brother is there.
I didn't see that coming anyway.
Now, I'm not saying that's what he's doing.
No, I didn't say that.
But I'm saying an example. I can choose him because it's call his name. Now, Sulayman Sao can be, or let's say, candidate A from Badibu or Kia. Run. Likely there's support. The Kian vote will come for him. Now, he stopped the Kian vote from going to the three establishment for now. Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, if he have to drop, now he takes his vote to the establishment. Because you could have said they don't have to run then. They can just take their vote to the establishment. But if you don't run, you will not know your vote.
You will not know your vote.
Yes,
you will not know your vote.
The process is called counting the votes. You have to put a mechanism to be able to count the votes. Now, if I have 3 people in and they all score 15, all of them, now I can kind of gauge, okay, I have 15 votes here.
I have 15 votes.
If you manage to vote for me, then I can easily persuade you to vote for candidate A, B, or C.
And then and it can be influential for you also. For example, if Talib win tomorrow, or Dabo wins, or who would J Dabo, that can be an influence. I help you. I give you my. So
don't you see? Let's say when a conservative leadership comes in.
Exactly.
How do you see the appointments? It's not competency.
No.
I mean, they reward them according to the votes they brought.
Yeah, and potentially all those who have joined them, has been brought into the concern. Now they have saddled big wigs. Potentially, next government they're going to be part of it. You know.
They use this as a battle. That's why I say, pull us about interest. Let's. All this detail is to avoid people seeing it as a tribe thing.
No, it's
about establishment.
And Brother Ben, Gambians easily flound these things, the danger of it. They kind of overshadow, but they flound. Everything is about tribe, everything is it. Even if we become accountable to one individual and all those things, it is about tribe and tribe and tribe and tribe. When Gambians are so coordinated.
Let me give you an example for people who didn't understand the context. I said it happened to me. Like during the struggle.
Yes.
Many people celebrated.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the struggle, end of the struggle, 2016, Barrow came in. From when the impasse, I was fighting, this is every impasse, but I was already pointed at certain things. Some of these people that celebrated me, some of the people that celebrated me,
yes,
turned around because I objected to Masane Kinte being CDS.
Yes, I remember that time.
Some of these people that celebrated me, you are so honest, you are heard this, turned around to say that I am tribalist. That's why I went against Masane Kinte.
You see.
And the same people turned around to some of these same people again who trusted me, my integrity and everything, turned around to say, you're looking for a job, you didn't get it, that's why.
Yes. So typical Gambian default.
Third group said, in fact, because some other people that still believe in me, trust me, started even to lobby. I didn't know because they were in a forum. What happened? They were in a forum, and I was not in the forum. And these people take it to themselves, saying that they want to look at the people in the struggle that they want to recommend to the government. My name come up. One of them who was present, he said about 8 of them all called me a second-class citizen.
You see?
You see, but because for them, it's a competition.
It's convenient.
They don't even believe it.
Yes.
Because when we were in the struggle together, they were celebrating me. But interesting enough, again, let me say this. One of them was a young guy living in London. That guy was begging, I want to meet you. One day I was in London. I called this guy traveled all the way across just to come and meet me, shake my hands. And he was one of the people who came.
No. So you see, but it's a dangerous platform to flound easily. Everything that we do, we end up defaulting. Our default is this is tribe, this is this thing. They hate this individual, or you're looking for positions and all those things.
But you see this interesting about that young chap.
Yeah.
For him at that time, they perceived me as a PDI supporter because I was talking about the MOU. And now, after UDP left government, good of him, he called me personally and apologized.
Oh, that's very good.
And said everything. But you know why I'm explaining this? To show you that some people who say certain things is just to hurt the person they are against. Yes. It's not that they believe in tribalism or anything else. It's way of trying to hurt someone else because they don't agree with them.
Yeah, and they label you all kind of things. You are stubborn, you don't respect elders, these things, So definitely people need to, especially on tribe and religious things. I'm going to talk about Abdul Karim, but we will bring you so that, we can talk about that thing also deeply. Deep analysis like what we did today. But what is important, Brother Ben, because it's almost 2 hours we've been here, it's getting 10 o'clock. Democracy is not an easy solution. It's not an easy way out. A lot of us flout democracy, but this is a very complicated and it's not straightforward system. There is no much in the market for democracy, but democracy is not perfect. And sometimes it has to be instability. It has to be chaos. It has to be kind of a war before you come out, to have a way that everybody can be happy with. Probably you will not make everybody happy, but majority. So the internal differences, the rigorous that is happening in the Gambia within political parties. If we get it right, it will be good for Gambia. What we want, we don't want any leaders to be there forever, whether at political party level or country level. Leaders need to know transition in a timely manner is better for all of us. You will receive, even without the power, but you will have your dignity. Probably all the conflict that we are having now, we will not have them if our leaders allow to transition, to know that, anybody that's telling you without you, the Gambia or my country or my family will not go without you is lying to you. It's not true.
Let me give a story of Sauda.
Yes.
When Sauda came to exile, after 2 months,
yes,
people used to send him like audios, recordings, video recordings, in those days, video recordings. They sent him a video recordings of the junta, doing they had something like a football match and stuff like that. There was a particular person, I'm not gonna name the person, he's an elderly, he's not normal with us. And in the video, the junta members were there, and this guy who came up as like a council of elder, like an elderly to the junta. When Sadala looked at it, people that were present, they said when Sadala comes to certain difficulty, he speaks Mandinka. And apparently Sadala got up from this setting and touched the screen of the tele to say that, is it this person here?
Oh, you see?
Because of what that person had benefited in the Sadala administration.
Exactly.
2 months, they are already there.
Exactly.
Probably that person is even part of the people that go and say to him, if you go, nobody can dissect.
Oh, yes. So this is the thing. No leader is so good to the extent that he or she, if not there, Gambia cannot go. Or he can do this particular development to the extent that nobody can do that. That's a fake. That's sell. But even if a country, if we have allowed a leader to overstay, to get that leader out will be instability. Like we experienced in Jawara's time, we experienced in Yaya's time, and at even party level. If you overstay also, potentially what is happening in the UDP could have been avoided if we transition in a timely manner. And equally for Barrow, he is not any specialty for he to be Gambia more than 2 times, to the extent that we're saying if Gambia without Barrow, Gambia cannot survive. That's a lie. That's not true. This Gambia will go, family's head will die, and the family will go, and they will have a survival mechanism where they will go with or without the leader. In the Gambia also, this country of nearly 3 million, we have capable peoples in abundance. Without Barrow, without Hussein at the leadership of UDP, without Barrow from MPP or being a Gambian president, Gambia will survive, and probably better things will come to the Gambia. Let nobody falsifies these things and flout these arguments that these leaders need to be there because without them, he will be the unifier. Without them and all those things, it's all nonsense.
The point to note is, change is constant.
Exactly.
Now, what we can do is to determine the change. If we are not progressive to make sure we bring about change democratically, the third term syndrome is already in the Gambia. This is why you see the tension. The third term syndrome means that when leaders seek for third term, where it's the people believed in a 2-term solution, whether you manipulate the constitution or you refuse, what happened is, because you have committed crimes, be it corruption or human rights abuses, this is why you scared of leaving power, or because of you are captured in power. Interest groups want you to be there because you are serving a purpose that they cannot guarantee the next person coming in. This is what happened to Sadar. It is not that Sadar is scared to leave power. He would have been celebrated and lived a better life forever.
Yes.
Because I can tell you, nobody would have persecuted him. And the PPP would probably have continued till now. They would have evolved in many ways. Or if they have lost elections, they would have won elections again. Just as what we see in Ghana. That's how democracy matures. Because Sadara would not have been prosecuted for human rights abuse or corruption.
No.
And I can tell you at that time, PPP was still so popular that if they have chosen the right leaders, Bibi could have served 2 terms.
Yes.
And someone else would have taken from Bibi, because then, or if they make a mistake, opposition can win, but they will stand chance to win again, just as what happened in Ghana. But if you fail to leave power, power will leave you. In a sense, change will come about. If democratic change is impossible because of the incumbent have entrenched themselves, have made institutions useless, and control all these institutions to make sure that change is not possible through the ballot box or any other way they think, change will come in the other 2 ways: democratic change or undemocratic. Undemocratic change would be changed by force from either the army or civil unrest. Now, let's look at it. Hosni Mubarak of Egypt, when he took over from Assad, what happens? He entrenched the army into governance.
Mm-hmm.
Be the private sector, be it anything that runs government. But again, he had a policy of inclusion in a sense of protecting minorities, having a secular state. These are the 2 strengths he had. Because at that time, the opposition or any group that would not want a military government or an Assad government would not trust any other group to become leader. At least for them, Assad have protected them. Be the Jew Christians, be the even within the Muslims, the Wahhabis, the Salafis, the Brotherhood, they all don't want any this thing. They at least would have the military than not Assad than this thing. But overnight, what happened? Civil unrest. That civil unrest ensured that the pressure got to a level the armed forces had to intervene to allow a civilian government to come in. Temporarily. Because when the civilian government came in, the Muslim Brotherhood won the elections. The fear they had of the Muslim Brotherhood came into reality. The Muslim Brotherhood miscalculated, appointed the chief of intelligence or deputy chief of intelligence. That is the present president now, as the chief of the armed forces.
Yes, Sisi, yes.
Sisi, due to Sisi master's dissertation, they dealt with democracy and Islam. What Sisi did was, when they came in, they started their policy of, how to call it, the Brotherhood, trying to bring an Islamic government, and the other small minorities started to feel fear. They came out. Social unrest. And the army took an opportunity to reinstate themselves. Literally, Assad, what happened to Assad's family? Nothing. The army protected them. These are the realities of change will come. Let's look at Burkina Faso. Compare as any soldier would do in Africa when they take over power. They have a tribal mechanism in place. And not with the tribal mechanism, what they do is they select the small tribal groups to try to build an alliance as see as protecting them, to come to the base of their tribe, to have the majority against
the bigger tribe,
the other tribes that would be perceived as the opposition. And they will use the army again, use tribal mechanisms in order to fortify themselves in power, the institutions and everything. For how long? When the people really suffered, change came about where? It was the civilians that took the forefront. And guess what? The president had gassed themselves to, let him to run away, and they took over. But the people people insisted, people's power insisted they don't want the military on. They went through a democratical experiments. Recently, Sri Lanka, they had over 30 years of civil war, tribal. You have the Tamil government, the Singali government against the Tamil people, the Singali against the Muslims, against the Christians, and they maintain power. In fact, it was a dynasty, a family running the country, corruption and everything, taking loans from China, IMF and everything. The economy complete collapse. Before, they were protected by the mechanisms they have in place. They are tried the armed forces and everything.
The armed force, yeah.
But when the entire population start to suffer, there's nothing like a middle class, and so even the upper class started to feel threatened. Broad daylight. They ransacked and got into the state house with all the defense the state house had. Why did you? Why were they not repelled? Because civilians didn't have guns. But that's when people come together, unison, to show their defiance to government. If it was the Tamils that come over, they fought the Tamils for 30 years and massacred them. But if it was the Tamils that come, or a political party come over, they will not be successful. But it will come a time that the people will come up and move you out.
And the same thing happened in the Gambia. People has to come up. Within 3 months, we ousted a brutal dictator in the Gambia without guns, without nothing. Somebody who said he's going to be entrenched, for millions of years. So when people come together, well, it's nobody's interest for one leader to be there perpetually, because he's going to go at the end of the day.
Change will happen.
And probably change will happen. Nobody can stop that. Yeah. Probably when that change is going to happen, it will end up in violence. Brother Ben, we're going to stop it there. It's 2 hours, completely 2 hours. I know we are going to come back here so that we can talk about other issues. But what is important, democracy is not an easy system to manage. No. Anybody who cannot be thinking to have their minds open and manage democracy, it can be counter into what you want. But one thing that is so now, we have only democracy to think and manage to suit us as a people. So what is happening in the UDP, if they get it right, will be a beacon for hope for Gambia and Gambian political parties. But if they get it wrong, that's how fluid democracy can be. It will be catastrophic for UDP. Probably is going to split them, and this will have a huge consequence on Gambia and Gambian politics. Yeah. But what is truthful is one leader cannot be a leader forever. Let nobody just entertain that to anybody. You cannot be like, if we are not there, we are not going to go. Changes will eventually happen, and the wind of change is blowing in the Gambia. Nobody can stop that. The young people are coming demanding for term limit. They are demanding for accountability. That is a sign that things are changing in the Gambia. No political force, no leader can stop that. So let's be accountable. Let's know this power. We have to stop it, or the power will stop it. And most of the time, when the power stops you, it ends up in violence, and this is going to cascade and boom and kind of mushroom and affect everybody and the development of not only the political party but the Gambia as a whole. And we don't want that. What we want is a stable Gambia, a Gambia that leaders will come do their best, finish 10 years, sit in the Gambia and enjoy their life, and Gambia can transition. Nobody can do the whole changes, no matter how you stand, even million years, you cannot do all the changes. But you can't, because age will not allow you, time will not allow you. You get tired, with even your small group to manage the more of a country for perpetuality. And at the end of the day, as our experience, so if you change, timely is going to be good for everybody. Greetings to brother Ben once again. Greetings to our leaders, our listeners all over the place. I didn't read your comments because I want the post-mortem to be done by the specialist here without much intervention. We are going to bring Brother Ben here again so that, we will talk about the gala, the Gumusabopa. Yeah, and of course, we have a famous, another celebrity, a young Imam, Abdul Karim, Kouati, and the debate around, religion and religious tolerance. Our tribe religion is something that we need to be very careful. It's a delicate balance with it, because we are a compendium of religions in the Gambia. So we have to be careful. Our brothers and sisters are on the other side. We are on the other side. How we manage that so that we can have a Gambia that is peaceful is so important and delicate. One day, if we are free again, Brother Ben will come and we can analyze this. Thank you so much to all of you, and thank you for your patience. It has been a marathon, program, but it is worth it, and hopefully we all learn something from here that we can take today and sleep over with it and see that it is Gambia that matters, and it is Gambia that is bigger than all of us. Thank you once again, Lamin Jammeh, the boss of Gunjur Online, and everybody else. Allah baraka, Allah omari, Allah mansuto dia.